All right, it's 7 o'clock. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is this where you have to pull something off
Not pulling anything off.
the consent agenda?
No, not pulling it off.
Well, okay. All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Henry,
I'll second that.
a second from Councilmember McKnight. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, community comment for anything that's not on the agenda. Not that I see anybody here for that. So moving on, presentations and reports, our new employee introductions. Jessica, you are first. You want to come up and introduce yourself, and then we'll go through our list of 37 questions that we have for you.
My name is Jessica Archer. I started out as the building official here about 4 weeks ago. I'm excited to join the city of Carver and watch the growth as it develops.
Good. You want to tell us where you were before Carver?
Sure. Yep. I came from the city of Maple Grove. I was a building inspector there. I've been in the building inspection industry for the past 14 years. Over that time, I've worked in residential projects, commercial projects, and then building official in 2 cities as well.
Fantastic.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very
Any
much.
questions? Nope.
We're all
Making
good.
it so easy.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate you coming. All right. Up next, Chad Roush. Roush?
Roush, yep.
All right. Firefighter.
Like racing.
My name's Chad Roush. Obviously, I'm one of the new firefighters here in town. I've got a wife and 2 girls. We live in Carver Bluffs, so right up the road. Been in Carver here for about 7 years. Finally got a regular schedule where we can finally juggle firefighter and work and soccer and school and all that good stuff.
Life.
Life is busy right now. But halfway through the academy already. Class 11 was this last week, and there's about 22 classes, so it's cruising right along.
Good.
I'm going to get tougher on you.
Yeah?
So, no.
Beat us up.
Just out of curiosity, what made you want to join the fire department here in Carver?
I'm in the medical field, so I've always been intrigued with that. My mom's been a firefighter for almost 30 years now. She just posted a tacky little thing on Facebook saying that she's been on the department for almost 30 years, and now she's proud of her son for carrying the torch. You know. And
Oh, that's
great.
awesome.
yeah, she's proud. So that and wanting to help with the community. Gotta be social.
Great.
It's better than Lions Club.
Ooh.
Not really. My father-in-law's a lion.
Well, as the vice president of the Lions Club,
Okay.
welcome to the fire department.
I might get roped into that too.
Yeah. No, we're glad to have you for the fire department.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally, we have Peyton Geis. Peyton Geis.
Is that microphone turned on?
Hello.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just gotta sit closer.
All right. Peyton, tell us all we need to know about you.
All right. My name is Peyton Geis. I live in Shakopee, Minnesota. I just recently graduated from St. John's University in the spring of 2019. And while I was there, I worked at the city of Eden Prairie for the past four years as a seasonal and public services as well. And just excited to get going here. And I started back in August, and looking forward to the snow season.
You say that now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Operating the big equipment, huh?
Yeah.
So remember on September 16th when you said.
All right, we got it recorded, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Perfect.
We do. We'll go back to this. And when you jinx the entire winter.
Yep.
Awesome. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thanks Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peyton.
All right, moving on, construction update, Dan Lonis.
Good evening. Good. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the construction projects and where they all stand and answering any of your questions, hopefully, what to expect the next month or two. So I will start with the 2019 infrastructure improvement project that you've all been seeing and are familiar with at this point here, so I probably won't be telling you anything notably new other than what to expect over the coming few weeks. But they largely marched through the job according to schedule here. So they're paved everywhere except Sunny Ridge Drive. So you're going to see curb and pavement on Sunny Ridge Drive probably within the next week. You're going to see some curb and pavement again probably within about two to 3 weeks. So that job should be about wrapped up by first or second week of October. Then after that, it's all just the refined punch list and restoration and things to that nature. So the job has gone largely well. I mean, we just haven't had a whole lot of surprises other than a lot of rain. So everything's
Really? I'm shocked.
yeah. We had a pretty rainy year, but for the most part, a lot of residents have had some tremendous changes with the utility connections and a lot to work through on that. But we're getting over the hump on that. So local impacts here. There's a closure of Lylewood Drive here. You may have seen a notice, but it's 1 week duration to finish up that portion of the project, and a lot of restoration work and punch list work will be happening in the spring. So, any questions on that particular project?
No, but just a comment. I have shared this with you offline, but I've been really impressed by how smoothly that has worked. You've said it will be paved 1 week, and it's paved. There has always been something happening, when the construction wrapped up on Dietrich and Kirchy, they moved on to Elm, and now, there's always something going on. So it's not hard to find where the action is, where stuff is happening, and it's not one of those projects where everything happens and then there isn't an area that sits idle. I've been really, really impressed with how it's been working this summer. So kudos, and please pass that along to the folks at Mueller.
Thank you. Definitely will do that, and we'll let them know they did a good job, and that's definitely a big thing is getting a good contractor who tries to do their best, and I think you got that on this project.
Yep.
So, thank you. Definitely pass that along. 28. Any other questions? I'm sorry. We're on the phone.
Not on that project.
All right. 2018 storm sewer improvement effort, that's been largely still for quite some time. It's been tied to the obviously the high water in the area. So we really can't do the work until the river was at a level that was low enough that we could complete the stormwater connections. So what you're going to see in that drawing here is the areas that still need to be completed here. The major one here is Broadway. That is actually going to be around the corner here. In the next couple of weeks, we'd expect that to start moving forward. So some notices will move through the system on what exactly to expect there. But if the weather holds and rain allows, you're actually going to see that portion of the project completed. And likewise, the other section here. So likewise, the section just by that B, that red dotted area here by Casey's, storm sewer will be progressed again this year as well. So big highlight. Schedule subject to river and groundwater elevations has been the big caveat this year, but we're looking to get wrapped up. So those are pictures from when they put in the stormwater lift station back in the fall. So any questions on that one? Commerce Drive, that one is again moving along pretty close to schedule here. We've been synced up with Lakeview on expectations for getting it open yet this year, and it looks like they will be on track to make that happen. Here, I'll show you a picture in a second, but they're about to curve down and pavement will go down yet this year, so it'll be open for them as they're as you've seen them for upcoming 3 to 4 weeks. So there's what Commerce looks like right now. So it's right before the curtain goes down. So unless there's any projects or project questions on Carver efforts, we're moving to development. Go ahead.
I just have a question regarding the alley on this side of City Hall. What's gonna happen with that?
The alley,
Well, right now it's pyloned, and it's about a 1.5 foot drop down to the alley, going back to the creek.
okay,
Deer in headlights.
yeah.
That's part of the City Hall paving project, so the alley will be done, and then there'll be a mill and overlay from Fourth Street intersection to just about where the
Okay.
gazebo park. We're expecting that work to probably happen within the next 7 business days. So
Okay.
the notices going out to impacted property owners shortly.
Okay.
What's gonna be the detour then? Up? You said they're ripping this up right here.
They'll do it all in one day.
Oh, okay.
I'm good for now. Yeah.
Yep, that was a deer in the headlights. So, anything else before the development project? First one is Oak Tree. That is in the third edition. They're wrapping that project up here. The subdivision is largely going to be complete here by the end of this year. It's the third edition. The fourth edition is one final connection up to Copper Hills, and that would be currently in the review phase here for possible construction in 2020. So that would carry the project on into next year, but otherwise, up through third edition, they're looking to have largely wrapped up yet this year. So there's Oak Tree. It was chipping away at the final paving, and curb. They've got a few sections left to do, but they should be able to get it wrapped up through the third edition this year. Meadows at Spring Creek, that is first and second edition only. They're paved. Second edition's paved. The wear course will be on the second edition yet next year, but otherwise the first edition will be pretty well complete by the end of the year with even wear course. So you'll see final paving on part of it next year. Otherwise, that one also is going to be closed out and wrapped up. It's going to look fairly complete by the end of this fall. So no major impacts expected.
How many additions do we have for that one? Just
So
two.
this will be 2 of 2. So there's Meadows at Spring Creek. So it's shaping up well. Meridian Fields development. That one is a big one up by 212. The first edition is paved and largely completed. Second edition is going to be it's going to have a lot of utility activity going on late into the fall here. So first edition's well underway. Second is going to be a lot of underground work. That one's going to carry on into spring of 2020. The Monroe Drive, you can see that one's largely paved. So it's a big part of Meridian, and traffic impacts again are expected to remain minimal for the time being. So any questions on that one? Okay. So there's Meridian Fields and nice median. Hawthorne Ridge, that one is one addition, but split up into kind of 2 work areas. So I kind of refer to it as the north and the south segment. They're kind of attacking it in different areas, but it's one addition. That one is expected in the summer of 2020. They're going to be going hard with grading and utility work this year, and they'll get as far as they can, and then it's going to carry on in the spring is what we'd expect. And you'll probably see more wrap up on that one in the summer of 2020. That one is going to be minimal for traffic impacts outside of Sunny Ridge Drive. There's some residents that are directly impacted by traffic coming in and out of the subdivision right down by Sunny Ridge Drive. We've talked to some residents. Their recent about what's happening behind the house. So that one is going to be fairly intensive construction here, at least till November. It frees up. Close it out here and pick it up again in the spring. There will be some water main work too. Go ahead. Okay, I need to speak up a little bit. So I'll lean down here a little bit more into the microphone. We'll see some increased truck traffic on Iron Road Drive and Sunny Ridge Drive during construction as well. There's Hawthorne Ridge. You can see they have a ways to go before you're going to start seeing streets on that one.
Is that on the north or the south?
I believe that is on the north.
Got it.
North. Lakeview Industry is the last one. That is industrial project here that's just tracking their building effort here. That is tying to the schedule of commerce, and our understanding is they're getting close here yet this fall, but for winter. But I can't give you an exact date on their internal opening, but it's tracking fairly close to what we're needing to do for Commerce Drive for this year. So, any other questions here?
Yes. Hawthorne on 6th Street, the drainage down at the bottom of the hill.
Yes.
How's that going?
How's it going?
Can I get an update as far as where we're
Yeah,
at?
absolutely. They connected the pipe. It's not completely wrapped up and live yet, but they did. I'll consider it to be the worst, most difficult part of the job, which is putting the pipe in the ground from the curb all the way back to the let's say
The
embankment,
catch.
the railroad embankment. They still have to get the pipe live all the way from the other side of the embankment out, but that's got to do with lining the existing pipe. But they basically completed the part that was most impactful to the residents in there, and they have a system that's largely connected together, but they still have some work remaining on that, and hopefully are going to be in the restoration phases for the area between the two homes.
Okay.
They put that pipe in, so they've made a lot of progress, but it wasn't easy. So
Thank you.
What about Carver Ridge?
Carver Ridge, boy, I don't know if I'm prepared to speak on that one right now. Maybe Aaron can.
Okay.
So Carver Ridge obviously has some siding now, which is really exciting, and the parking lot is primarily done. They are working on sheetrock on the interior right now, hoping to be substantially complete probably in December, hoping to be open early 2020.
Okay, thank you.
So any other questions?
Busy.
Yeah.
All right.
Lot of
Good
things
news.
happening, but quiet down in about a month.
Thank you, Dan. No public hearings tonight. Glenn, coming up to the consent agenda.
Somebody make the motion.
I'll make a
Wait,
motion.
wait,
Oh.
you're not going to recuse yourself?
Well, are we gonna have discussion on it or not? I mean,
I don't know what's happening. Let me know if you want me to make. a
Yeah,
motion.
no, you mentioned you had to recuse yourself.
Yeah, I'll recuse myself
Okay.
from the vote on the consent agenda because my employer is on the consent agenda and we are reducing letter of credit from 1.4 mil to 400,000.
Mayor and council, I'd suggest just removing that item from the consent agenda so that Councilmember Henry can vote on the balance of the consent agenda items, and then you can vote on that item separately.
What number is that item again? 7.7. I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda, the consent agenda, removing item 7.7.
I'll make a second to the motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember Mock and a second by Councilmember Sayer. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Now you can act on 7.7.
I will recuse myself from 7.7 because my employer happens to be the topic of the reduction of letter of credit.
I will make a motion to approve item 7.7 from the consent agenda.
I'll make a second to the motion.
We again have a motion by Councilmember Mock and a second by Councilmember Sayer. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, no unfinished business. For new business, we have 9.1, fire engine acquisition. Chief Meyer.
Good evening, Council Mayor.
Evening.
All right, so it's been a lot of work in progress and a lot of help from Assistant Chief Trimble and all the fire department staff. Quite a few of them are on the committee. So this Carver Engine 12 is a replacement of our 1988 used fire truck that we got from Eden Prairie. So let's do a brief summary of it again. So the cost of the new engine is what came in under what we were proposing is estimated $650,000. So, and as a capital reduction is kind of what we explained, that we're looking at combining two vehicles into one. So this one will be 1,800 gallons, carrying a crew of 6, and so that increases our current crew onto one engine, but we will be eliminating one of our tankers in the future when there's issues that can't be replaced. That's the one that's on loan from the DNR. So engine 12, it's 1988. It's 31 years old. So it replaced our 1954, which we had to take out of service due to DOT issues. So currently this truck goes on car accidents, fires. It's second out on rural fires. It's third out on city fires. So that's carries a crew of 5. And
Danny, can you tell me, did we buy this one brand new?
nope, we bought this one used from City and Prairie.
Okay, so it's already used and it's 31 years old.
Yep, yep. Okay, this is just a picture of the inside of the cab. We just had some retention issues, so it had the lap belts or whatever, so it's really unsafe or whatever for if you were to get in an accident that doesn't have the shoulder restraints like the newer engines do. So this one, the new truck would meet the new NFPA standards, and it has an inoperable foam system that would cost $6,000 to replace. So being that we're looking to replace it, we chose not to throw money away essentially. So this is the 1981 Mack tanker. This is the one that's on loan from the DNR. Carries 3,000 gallons of water. We replaced the tank quite a few years back, and we already have some issues where it's starting to leak through the tank. It rusts out. It's a metal tank, so just one of the things that we'll keep on patching until we can't patch it anymore. So it only goes to about 1% of the calls. So it's just for rural fires is what it gets used for. So.
And as a 38-year-old tanker, how long have we had this one?
We've had this one since it was around 1990 is when we got it. And it was a fuel tanker. It was a fuel tanker at that time when we got it. The truck was shortened down, the frame was cut down. Paul Schultz is a big part of doing that work. The fire department did most of that work then, where we cut down the frame, shortened the tank, and put the lights on and everything like that. So,
Are we returning this to the DNR?
yep, this gets returned back to the DNR. It's on loan from the DNR, so there's no value to us. We could take the tank off of it, but it's really nothing. So as soon as we're done with it, it
More
goes
junk.
back. So Cologne was in the same program. They just returned theirs, and they just got a new tanker this year. So
Are we
So
going
there's-
to try to get more use out of it, or potentially the day that the new fire engine
nope, we'll keep on using it till we can't,
bottom rusts out?
till it rusts out or something goes out, the motor blows. We're just not going to fix it when it gets to that point. We're not going to do anything that costs a lot of money. So
Okay.
it just fills a spot or whatever. We don't need to have it for our ISOs because we have mutual aid agreements with Chaska, Cologne, and the other departments around us where it doesn't affect us because of our auto aids and box alarm system.
Does it take up a lot of room in the station?
Nope, right now we have an open spot right now, so, and that's kind of where we're holding our meetings until we get our meeting room put back together, so once it opens up or whatever, it's in our spot just for moving vehicles around and making them a little bit more organized, so. All right, so safety standards from 30-year-old trucks to modern. So it's a big thing. That's the change from our old trucks to newer trucks is the airbags and safety components that are inside of them. And the lighting, so one thing that we keep on having is the older trucks have more fluorescent light bulbs. We're going to LED, takes less power. We're putting smaller generators in, and it's able to light up a scene a lot better than the older trucks. So, anybody have any questions on that? No? Okay. Okay, so the items that are included in this truck that we were speccing out is a hydraulic generator. It's a little bit smaller than we currently have in our Carver Engine 13, but it's enough because we're updating. The other truck has the fluorescent lights or whatever, and we're going with the LED lights. And then the deck gun, it's going to be a manual deck gun compared to an electronic one. We've had issues with electronic ones with the batteries going dead. So as soon as you want to use it, you have to change out the batteries. So we've been dealing with that. And then they'll have a tool tray that folds out, so it's a little bit more organized, where you just don't have table or tools laying in the bottom of the cabinets. So it's just a little bit more organized, a little bit safer. We've had it where you open up a cabinet, something might come flying out at you after driving to a scene. So it's happened. So the last item is the light tower. So they're tremendous on fire scenes and car accidents. So questions there? Okay, so some of the items that we don't have to buy because we currently have them on the truck, we're just transferring the items across, are some of the miscellaneous tools, dextrication equipment, and any of the hose that's on the trucks. So there's no really extra materials or equipment that we have to buy. So those items are not part of this purchase of the new engine.
I got just a question. What's the shelf life of a fire hose?
Shelf life of a fire hose. So we test them every year. So the hose gets tested every year. So we actually have some hose that we got from Shakopee when we bought a truck used from them quite a few years ago. That's the one that we crashed and got the other last engine that we got. So some of that hose, we're now to the point that it's getting close to 25 years old.
Okay.
Or whatever, and all of a sudden they're realizing that they're having a hard time finding the dates because they can't read them on them. So we're starting to replace holes as we need to. So
Got it.
yep. So next step. So the process kind of changed as we've been talking or whatever. So what we need to do is get the council approval to accept the bids. It's a PO or whatever. So it's a joint purchase program. It used to be called the NGAPA. Now it's called Sourcewell. So if you guys have any questions on that or whatever, what it is it's a joint purchase agreement, and these trucks are pre-bid. The base line items are pre-bid on these trucks, and then you just add and change to what the needs are for the fire departments and the apparatus. That makes sense. It's supposed to more be of a fast track and simpler way of purchasing trucks. So Chaska, Chanhassen, and Waconia, a lot of departments around us have been doing this for quite a few years now. So it's kind of changed the way the bidding process goes. So any questions on that?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 145-19, authorizing the purchase of a fire engine from McQueen Emergency for $647,667.58.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Councilmember Mock and a second by Councilmember McKnight. Are you guys done with your presentation?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any further discussion? I just have one quick question. What is the timeline for the rest of this process?
So we'll be going out to Wisconsin to the Pierce manufacturers, and we actually go through hands-on, kind of finishing up the spec process. There's some fine tooth combing or whatever you want to go through. So, but the process will start. So we'll do the paperwork this week or whatever. The bond is in, so that'll be at City Hall in the morning. So that came in today. So once that's signed, turned over to McQueen, then essentially we start the process, and they're saying delivery around June of next year. So that's kind of what they're proposing, that if everything stays on schedule. So
Appleton, Wisconsin.
yep.
I've been there.
Appleton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where our 1990 Pierce was made. That's our other truck that's in the station that's been very good to us. So
Very cool. Any other further discussion?
Nope.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
you.
Hey.
Very exciting.
No, I kind of want to clap too.
I don't,
Let's ask, do we get a ride in it when?
All right,
capacity
moving
for-
on
Make it
to
shiny.
item 9.2, Southwest Prime MD. Aaron.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, before you is a contract to enter into a Southwest Prime for a new program they have, which is called Prime MD. So thinking about Southwest Prime, which we've been working on for about the past year and a half, Prime MD is a new service that offers on-demand services to hospitals and clinics for non-emergency trips, both within the Southwest service area as well as some select locations outside of the service area. So similar to Prime, there is a fixed cost per ride to the city. So Prime is $10 per ride to the city. Prime MD appointments would be $5. And the budget allocation comes from the amendment we made to the $10,000 Prime service to the city of Carver this year. So Prime and Prime MD would operate from the same budget. Dave is here with Southwest Prime. There were a couple of slides in your packet, but I think we're going to watch a video that goes over some of the info, and then we'll discuss.
Yeah, you've seen that PowerPoint far too many times. Couple of the fact that Len really didn't want me to say much, so. No, that's not, no, that's not true.
Do you want to set the scene for the video while we're pulling it up?
Well, it tells you how to use Prime MD. So, no, it's a good kind of user. Gives you some examples on how to do it and where it goes and how it all goes. But the important part is the non-emergency portion of it.
Hi, I'm Len Simich, CEO of Southwest Transit. We have an issue going on not only here in our metropolitan area, but nationally. Where individuals have an issue going on not only here in our metropolitan area, but nationally, where individuals are not able to access good medical treatment because of transportation. We at Southwest Transit have come up with a new revolutionary program that we call Prime MD. Prime MD will work similar to our Prime program, which is a demand response, but it will allow individuals to book their rides to their medical appointments up to 2 weeks in advance. And when you're done with that appointment, you either simply go to our app or make a phone call, and transportation will arrive to bring you back to your destination. We hope this video provides you information of how to book your next appointment using Prime MD.
Southwest Transit's Prime MD is a first-of-its-kind non-emergency medical transportation service designed to economically get you to and from medical appointments around the Southwest Metro. This will allow you the flexibility to get yourself or your loved ones to those important medical appointments stress-free. It all starts with a simple phone call to one of our friendly customer service representatives to book a ride for yourself, friends, or family members. When you're ready to book your ride, one of our representatives will ask you for the date and time of your trip, your starting location, and what facility you're going to. This will help us ensure you get to your appointment safely and on time. When you're ready to return home, simply let us know, and one of our friendly drivers will come get you for your return home. You can book a ride on Southwest Prime MD up to 2 weeks in advance. We do suggest you make a reservation as soon as possible, as availability is limited and on a first-come, first-served basis. Buses are able to pick up anywhere within the Southwest Prime Zone. Check out our website, swtransit.org, for a list of clinics serviced by Prime MD.
We hope you found this video useful. For Southwest Transit, I'm Len Simich.
Well, thank you very much. No, I just, no, seriously. We start talking about, there's some subtleties here with the Prime MD service and say Metro Mobility. We'll do a comparison on that. Metro Mobility is a Americans with Disabilities Act required service, and it's for those who have cognitive or physical disabilities who are unable to use their fixed route service. That's what the ADA or Metro Mobility does. We're looking for folks here that are able to maneuver the system and are, have high enough cognitive abilities to use this system either alone or with someone. So, our first hospital here is out in Waconia, and I forgot the name of it already. Ridgedale, yeah. Ridgeview, there you go. And that's our first outfit that'll subsidize each trip $5 to the customer to pick them up and get them to their doctor's appointment and vice versa. So we're very pleased with that option. We're also looking at other hospitals around our service area. And just to remind you, our service area, you guys are under contract to do Prime and have the grant. But, it's Chaska, Chanhassen, and Eden Prairie. Those are the primaries, but, as long as the money flows, we'll continue to provide that service. And our hopes are, looking down the road, is that once Ridgeview says, okay, others will say, oh, that's a pretty good idea. And they'll hop on the bandwagon, and we'll continue to have that service grow similar to our Prime service. So that's it in a nutshell. We're looking to roll it out fairly soon here. I think we're going to start taking reservations the 1st of October because of the 14-day advance notice. We'll also do it same day, just like our Prime service, space available, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going to start small, just like we did with our Prime service, but that, how that exploded. We anticipate that kind of an explosion to occur with this as well. But it's a little niche that we feel is very important to provide services to the communities that we serve.
I think it sounds like a great idea. I mean, we have a new senior and assisted living facility going in here, and that may be, among others in the city, but that may be a great location that's going to get a lot of use out of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be dedicated vehicles compared to the Southwest Prime vehicles?
No, you still have to provide. We're still going to do a shared ride.
Okay.
But the destinations are far fewer. If you get
Right.
if you're going to the hospital, we might have 2 or 3 appointments,
Okay.
which would mean 2 or 3 individuals.
Okay.
Dave, it's $5 for each Prime MD ride, or just the ones to Waconia?
At this point, just the ones to Waconia. Oh, hold on here. What does it say?
It says the ones.
Yeah.
It says the
Yeah.
ones to Chaska, Chan, and Eden Prairie in the contract. That's part of our
Yeah,
packet.
as long as the trips start and end in the city of Carver,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Will the contract that's part of our packet be updated, include Waconia? Because that was actually one of my concerns, that it doesn't include Ridgeview Medical Center. It just says Chaska, Chanhassen, Eden Prairie, which also then would exclude St. Francis and Shakopee.
Yeah, Brent and I can talk about that offline. I think, again, we're talking starting and ending the trips in Carver, and the only real medical facility that's currently decided to go with this is Waconia. So there's only one choice at this point in time. As the service grows, we anticipate it to grow, then, it's be the same deal, but we could be going to Shakopee or to
Can you help
Edina.
me understand why the service facility would need to agree to it? Isn't it the rider that requests where they want to go to?
They
Their
do.
appointment and then the
Yeah.
return trip.
Yes, they do. The rider does. But, our original fee or fare was $10. So we've got the hospital out in Waconia to agree to subsidize that trip by $5 if you go to their clinic or their hospital.
Okay.
But you're still open to go to, let's say, 212 medical.
Yeah.
You just can't get the subsidy of the $5.
Correct. We'll get $5 either way, to the customer, $5 to the customer.
Right.
But we're not. Yes, we can currently go to these in our service area anyway. We already go to a lot of clinics within our service area.
So
Outside of Chaska, Chanhassen, and Eden Prairie?
No, the only
So
one.
You only go Chaska, Chanhassen, Eden Prairie for MD,
Correct, and we will go
for
to.
Prime MD.
Yes, well, currently
currently,
And the only medical facility outside of the area is in Waconia.
as well as Shakopee and St. Francis.
Not yet, no,
Not for you, okay.
not yet. We've had conversations with them. We hope that they will become a partner with us, like the Waconia Hospital has. But, you know, it's up to them.
Okay. Different question. How do pharmacies play into this? Can someone request a ride to a pharmacy?
Sure, you can request a ride, you know, anywhere, but is that considered a medical trip?
That would be my question. Is it considered a medical trip in this program?
Yeah, and,
to
you
go
know,
pick up a
there,
prescription and talk to
there
a
are several
pharmacist?
pharmacies around, you know,
Mhm.
within our service area. So again, I think we're talking about a medical trip in the purest definition of it, which would be seeing a doctor or a physician assistant or something to that level.
Because they could just take Prime if they wanted to.
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
Walgreens to pick up a
precisely.
prescription. And
Yep.
they're not on a time schedule then, where you go to a doctor's appointment and it's,
Mhm.
3 p.m.
Right.
Yeah,
Where
right.
you can go pick up your.
And, you know, and you hit on a very valid point here that I've been remiss to even tell you that when you are going to a hospital, we've got software now that will give it an appointment time. You know, with Prime, it was kind of the ebb and flow and kind of soft, and we'll pick you up, but you don't have an arrival time. We have a new software vendor, Spare Labs is who they are called, and we now have appointment times for the Prime MD, not necessarily for Prime, plain old Prime.
So if somebody goes to 212 Medical Center from Carver, and what I'm seeing here is it's going to be $5 to Carver and $5 for your $10 fare.
Yeah, around. I mean, we look at a trip as a trip. Trip from point A to point B, that's one trip. From point
B
B
back
back to A, that's another trip. So that's two trips.
Okay.
$5 each.
Okay. All right. I wrapped my head around it. I like it.
As far as the budget implications, I understand that for the rest of the year, we think it'll fit with the money that we've allocated already for
Prime?
straight Prime. What about for next year?
We don't know. I mean, the way that I described it is kind of like the city council by authorizing this, you're authorizing funds basically to, like as you would a gift card, and you're saying we're gonna fund this amount for Prime and Prime MD. If there's enough ridership throughout 2020 where that becomes a budget issue, they would contact the city and say, ridership is to the point where we either need to include more funds or we'll have to stop service for the balance of the year. So based on the success of the program, we could be in good shape, or we could say, hey, you know, add another $5,000 to carry us through 2020 based on what they're needing for ridership. But you,
For this year?
It's 10.
10.
10,000.
So the critical piece within that is you're not gonna go over budget without knowing, we'll get a call from Southwest and we'll say, well, we need more funds. We'll be monitoring that. And if we feel like we're tracking where that's gonna be an issue, then we'll clean that up and come back to you with some options. But it's without, they haven't started the program, so we just don't have an idea what kind of impact it's gonna have on our.
But will we be getting updates along the way?
Councilmember Henry, no. No, I'm just. Yes, of course.
Perfect.
As frequently as you would like. And Mayor Johnson is an ex officio, is that the right term, of our Southwest Transit Commission as well. Invite us anytime. We're more than happy to come out here in this new facility. That's beautiful.
Brent, do you know how much we have spent so far this year?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
Look it up and report back.
But you feel safe till the end, I mean, till
We
the
had-
next year,
We had
or this year,
initially
excuse me.
planned 10,000 for this year, and we're gonna fall below that, and so we're confident that whatever Prime MD would add to that, will still be within that 10,000, so we're gonna be in good shape. Now that I've said that.
Yeah. Well, just knowing that we are
phone's
coming
gonna
in
ring,
under,
Jake.
it looks like at the end of this fiscal year, we will have come in under that 10,000, then that seems
Yeah.
like a good number to start with for 2020.
I just want to make sure that we're all forward thinking on
Yeah.
this. You know, we all saw what happened when Prime went away in January. And
Yeah.
this is something I feel that we need to be all in on.
Absolutely.
Or really seriously consider not doing because there's nothing, we can't discontinue this service.
Once we
And
start
say
it.
that it's too expensive next year at this time. So,
Yeah. My thoughts and as far as what I would support is I support the Prime, but not the Prime MD. I just don't feel like the city should be charged $5 per ride.
But that's not really much different than how with Prime, right?
It isn't.
Right.
well,
In-
my mind, there's a greater need for Prime MD.
Right.
Because this is going to people's doctor's appointments. This isn't going to the grocery store or to
Hockey practice or
But-
anything else.
buy lottery tickets at the convenience store,
Right.
you know.
Yep. Even though I agree with that, I don't want to, I see this as more subsidizing it, where we're taking on the cost of $5 per ride instead of it being passed on to the insurance company or whoever needs the ride, the patient or a citizen. Just because I don't feel comfortable saying yes to everything that we're asked when I view this as a category of us lowering the cost for those that will use it. It's just something that, as far as what I know for it, from a financial perspective, I want to say no. The other thing too is if another similar vendor that offers the same type of service comes in, I don't feel comfortable saying yes to subsidizing that type of service for anyone that would benefit from it.
What does it cost the city for Prime per ride?
$10.
Okay, so then this would actually
This
be
is actually
charging
less. It is less, but it just also opens us up then where we're going to be providing this service, and we don't want to be in this situation where we would start, stop. And also just where if somebody else with a competitor with a similar service comes in fairness, would we give them the same treatment and subsidize and be willing to pay $5 to that business for each time somebody gets a ride to Carver or gets a ride from Carver or to Carver? So it's not so
I'm-
much, it's not so much the
I'm
service,
trying to think
it's
of
more the
somebody that
subsidizing
could even
that I'm
be a
not comfortable with.
competitor in that.
Yeah, so I was gonna
And I
say.
have
That's
more
one,
thing.
but the
Okay,
other,
I can't hear everyone.
And my one last thing is, yes, there will be a need at the Carver Ridge, the senior housing, but I also understand that they will be providing some transportation. So I don't think that's something that the city needs to subsidize or, help pay for, even though it may just seem like a very small amount. It's more of a principle, and that Carver Ridge will have that service and they can fund that themselves.
So I respect your opinion, and I hear you. Just a few things. So if, first of all, what is it? So as a board member, I know that Southwest Transit is not making any money on this, and you'd be hard pressed to find another business that wants to go into the same business of
Offering.
not making money. What is it? We lose money. but we
Lynn's
do it
brilliant.
very well.
Lynn's brilliant.
Well, our subsidy currently on Prime is, what is that, a little over $8 a trip?
So we're not going to see in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, another competitor coming in. I can guarantee that. The other thing, you mentioned something about there's the insurance reimbursement. Our insurance, it's real. The same employer will not cover me if I fall down the stairs and break my femur and can't drive for 8 weeks to get to doctor's appointments. So this is something that, I think it's really applicable for somebody who has a sudden incident or accident where you're not allowed to drive. I actually think that potentially, and I was talking to Dave about this before the meeting, but there could be folks who are already taking Southwest Prime to doctor's appointments right now, and this is gonna save them.
It's a schedule, right? I
Right.
mean, this is the unique thing about it.
It's gonna save them time, it's gonna
Yep.
save them money, so for the folks who are going to other doctor's appointments, I just think it's a benefit. And I see this as, well, both of them, but I see this as potentially being even more important than just the straight medical service.
Lori, I want to say thank you for having the knowledge that the senior living facility will have some of their own transportation, and I appreciate that. So, but for me, I don't think that negates the need for it. If we look at, we can start to talk about things like the aging populations of Carver County, there's people who are able to still stay in their homes, but maybe don't drive any longer. But I think that the longer that we can keep some of our aging population able to do for themselves in other ways, I think is really important. So especially with the option of the $5 less, or even if they have to pay the full fee both ways, I guess for me, having people have an option to have a scheduled time to get somewhere where they may, I mean, if you're taking a cab service somewhere, you're going to pay so much more for this, that to me it's an important factor to move forward with this. But I want to thank you for your view on that.
So
I'm good.
I just want to make it clear too, I'm not saying no to the service, but I'm saying no to the city of Carver reimbursing $5 per ride one way. I would be happy to partner and help with the marketing, putting stuff on our website that your service is available. Could someone call and use the service even if the city does not go into agreement that you're proposing today?
Well, it's a geographical, help me here, Brent, it's a geographical deal. So if the question is, if I'm correct, and Aaron too, is the city of Carver going to participate or not participate? Is it that simple?
It's similar to Prime in that if, I'm guessing if I should guess. So in order for someone to be picked up in the city has to be a part of it.
Okay.
We're not a part of
Yep.
Southwest Transit proper, we contract, and so in order to be involved with the system, we have to buy, in essence, buy a membership in the Prime and Prime MD, and so without having that membership in kind of simple terms, residents won't have access to it.
Okay.
So it's just a judgment call or a decision on the council on whether or not you want to provide the opportunity for that service in the city.
Okay, no, thanks for clarifying too. And that's what I thought. And I understand too, you would need kind of a commitment to, before you go through all the logistics of providing the service, knowing that you have that support.
That's
but
correct.
It still is where I stand on the decision in front of us.
Any comments?
I have no further comments.
Well, I just think it's a great program, and I think it'll be used more than the Southwest Prime. The MD, I mean,
We could end up saving money. People switch to
exactly,
MD.
exactly. So I look at it where it's a win-win for everybody, except for you, you don't make any money.
Kind of to that end of saving money, will you help guide and kind of educate the folks if they call for a Prime ride and it's going to a clinic? You'll say, okay, that's now Prime MD, and next time you can schedule this 2 weeks out in advance. And okay,
Yeah, that'd be on the nose. Yes, and that's, I think, one of the things we're going to have to go through. We've thought that through, saying, Prime Ride will not get you there at 11 o'clock a.m. as requested. Who knows when it'll get you there? Where this is, you've got a scheduled appointment time, and that's the big difference.
all right.
Well, I'll make a motion to enter in an agreement with Southwest for Prime MD in the city of Carver.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Councilmember Henry and a second by Councilmember McKnight. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay? First time I've done it.
Fair enough.
Mayor and council, that requires a roll call, so Councilmember Henry,
Aye.
Councilmember Mott,
Aye.
Councilmember Sayer,
Nay.
Councilmember McKnight,
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, moving on, the 2020 preliminary levy certification. Mr. Merrick.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is our annual process that really kind of jumpstarts the budget process. So this council's been meeting in a series of workshops to kind of go over the general fund at this point. And I think the best way to think about the preliminary levy is you're setting a budget for the budget. So for tonight, you're not really approving any one budget item. this is the most in property tax that we're gonna use to operate, the city's operations in 2020. So through that series, the council has looked at a general fund levy, which kind of funds the operations, and then a debt service levy, and that, the total of those two is $3,053,041, which equates to a 12.5% increase from the 2019 levy. Based on data and formulas given to us by Carver County, we're anticipating a $135 annual impact to a $300,000 home that experienced just over a 10% market value increase. And so what that means is a $300,000 home in 2019, on an average instance, won't still be valued at $300,000 in 2020 on average. That doesn't mean every home, but on average, their market value or what their home's worth will increase by 10%. So we account that in, and that's what gets you to that $135. What that means by a form of a tax rate, that's the number that the county uses to calculate what someone owes. The city's tax rate is going down, and you'd expect to see that as your market value increases. That's more to draw as far as the capacity of what the taxes do to impact that home. So based on our projections, the tax rate would go from 50.59%, which that was it in 2019, to 49.64% in 2020. And again, we're not adopting this as a final number, but those are more items to help you make a decision as far as where you want to set that certified levy. And so again, this is a number that you can lower, but you can't raise. So again, it's the budget for the budget. The city council did ask at the last work session to look at options to decrease that levy increase by 11.5% rather than 12.5%, which was roughly about 27,000. And so there's any variety. I mean, the budget is several pages long that you could choose from. I think probably the lowest hanging fruit for that is the community survey, which is anticipated to be 15,000, and then the landscape planning for the Jonathan Carver Parkway corridor improvements, which is also 15,000. So I'll stand for any questions that you may have.
So I think while everybody's formulating their questions, at our last work session, two work sessions ago, we talked in a fair amount of depth about the community survey. And we all kind of took our homework assignments, and I said that I would check with our Chaska colleagues. I spoke to Chris Schultz, Mark Winchittle, and
another person, and another person.
Matt Podorowski. Thank you. And they all, without missing a beat, said, yeah, go for it. The information that they provided to them was really invaluable. They thought that it was good research. I told them that we've never done it before, and they were like, oh, gosh, especially because of that, you need to get it done. And because of their enthusiasm and them speaking so highly of it, I am there now as far as the survey goes, where I was not there the last time we discussed this. Matt was going to send to Brent, have we gotten that yet? Their survey questions, just so that I can kind of wrap my brain around and we can see kind of what angles they used to tackle this survey, which is something that they've gone through within the last 18 months, I believe. So it's fresh, and being in such close proximity, we'll be familiar with kind of their issues and see kind of how they went about doing this. So I just wanted to report back on that.
I'm really glad you talked to them. I mean, I think that's another fantastic data point.
Yeah.
It's great to hear their enthusiasm. I talked to the city of Lakeville, a city council member there. I read through both their 2013 and their 18 survey questions, the results, and really what struck home for me is that their 2013 survey was a baseline, essentially. They asked a lot of basic questions about quality of life, the services the city provides, as a baseline. And in 2018, they asked all those same questions again and did a complete comparison between the two and said, did we improve here? Did we not improve here, right? And so they could really see areas where they could focus or see the benefit of some of the changes they'd implemented since 13. Plus, they asked some very specific questions about priorities in the city in the 2018 that I really liked about priorities that the city should plan for and where we should spend our money. And that really resonated with me because we have a lot of competing priorities on where to spend our money. And having that feedback from the community and from such a breadth of community with this kind of survey, I thought would be really helpful to me as a city council member helping to make some of these decisions going forward. So I'm now in as well.
Okay, well, I think we know from our last meeting that I'm struggling a little bit with the survey and then with the price of the JCP improvements plan. So I want to thank you for doing that homework, both of you, because that's really good information and it's really helpful to me to consider that. I was talking with Brent today, and I would like to ask the council to consider this as a way to possibly fund this, rather than, because when we had the 12.5, I wanted to look at seeing if we could lower by at least 1% to see what that would look like. Well, we have this capital, is it the capital improvements? Special capital fund that has, I think, $60,000, $50,000 still in it.
$60,905.
Okay. And so I'm not going to explain the entire fund, maybe Brent will have to jump in here, but the fact that this is maybe a place, because these are kind of one-time events, to pull that money out of and use it towards these projects. And then that would make me feel a little bit more comfortable. At least we've done something to try and bring that overall 12.5 number for the tax rate down by a percentage, and we have these funds there. Brent, am I explaining that fund correctly? Do you want to add anything to that?
Please.
So the city has a fund balance policy where we maintain 40% of our general fund operating for the following year. If we have anything over 50%, so we keep a little cushion, anything over 50% after the audit is then transferred into the special capital fund. So examples of how that money's been used, the city council authorized that to help pay for a commercial kitchen in the new city hall. We used it for several years to fund the city's portion of the Jonathan Carver Upper Corridor study. That was around $80,000. So we paid Carver County over 3 years about $25,000 apiece. So it is there for use. We don't want to use it for something that would be a reoccurring where you rely on it, and then 1 year the savings account essentially isn't there. This would be a candidate should the council choose to do that.
So I think that the JCP improvement plan, I know that we haven't looked at any other businesses, companies that might be able to do that landscape plan. I think it might be a good idea to look and see competitively what other price points we might find for something like that. Maybe if we take it out of a big firm and go to maybe a smaller firm, we might get a better price on that. I can be much more on board with the community survey if we look at possibly funding it out of that other account. We have the money there. I do see value, and like I said, I appreciate the fact that you both did that background work, because I think it's really helpful then to see how other cities have used it and benefited from it. But it has been a little bit of a struggle for me. So just if we could take that into consideration to pull that money from there, and that will help bring down that $27,000 amount that would lower us by a percentage.
I don't hate that idea, but I
What?
okay.
Button again.
But I think in tonight, in what all we have to do is set the budget for the budget.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't want to take it down tonight.
And I'm comfortable with exactly what you're saying, with keeping it
okay.
where it is.
Okay.
But I think as we
But
move
we could
forward,
consider it as we get through the details.
Yep, I think
Okay.
that would be important. So if we
Okay.
could take a look at that again at the next one.
I mean, in the steps in the schedule that you have, Brent, does that sound feasible? I mean, because we have October and November dates to review drafts and fiscal conditions, whatever that means. And a TNT draft, which sounds like something's going to explode. That sounds feasible? Okay.
I have a question on the community survey, and your guys, looking further into it, did you get any inclination on if more than 15,000 should be put in the budget?
Lakeville spent more. Certainly. I can't remember the exact amount, but they did spend more on their survey.
Yeah, and I think this does go to what was in the memo when we had
Yes.
the gentleman from the company, that for the number of questions he was proposing,
Right.
it was more like totally off the top of my head, 18 to 22?
I think so.
Yes.
And I mean, it has to do with the number of questions we ask and some of the detail, and I don't know that our heads were quite there
Right.
yet, so, yeah.
That said, when I was going back with, I talked to Mark and Matt when they were here for the City Hall open house, and I was like, but $20,000, and they're like, just cut the number of questions then if that's not something.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there is
Okay.
that flexibility.
Okay.
You know, that is the restriction on the amount of data that we can get is the
Get.
number of questions. But, I just keep going back to that. We get so little resident engagement, and this is something that's statistically sound and is going to be a really good cross-section because we're certainly not getting it here tonight.
We're not getting it here, and I feel like we need a benchmark to go forward
Yep.
from, right? And measure ourselves against. Where did we start, and did we end up where we wanted to be?
Did I answer your question? Yes.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions? All right.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 146-19, certifying the 2020 preliminary levy in the amount of $3,053,041.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Councilmember Sayer and a second by Councilmember McKnight. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Councilmember Communications. Councilmember McKnight.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Sayer.
The next Parks Commission meeting, October 14th, making some great progress on what some long-term possibilities could be for parks.
Looking forward to that.
So, so that will be, as things are scheduled, brought to the third Monday of October's city council meeting.
Perfect. The second Monday.
The second Monday,
Third-
sorry.
Oh, okay.
Third Monday, October 21st.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Councilmember Mock.
We had an HPC meeting last week, and we had Shelley Devon come in. She is the one on 6th Street who has the barn shed garage that was damaged in the mud water issue that was happening there. So it went very well, and it looks like she will be, at least from our HPC side, is approved for a new garage building there. I know that she has things to work out yet, I believe, with the developer. But on our HPC end, what they brought forward was approved, so.
So what do you mean a new building?
So the so that's an old, obviously, historic
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
River runs
It has
through
been, what did you say, Glenn?
I said a river runs through it.
Yeah, yes.
Wow.
So when 6th Street was redone, I don't know how many years ago, Glenn, you live on that street, you might know. There has been some drainage issues just in general that has gone through there. So then now with the new development, it was
yeah.
an
Yeah.
event. So they're going to end up raising it up a little bit so these
Okay.
problems don't continue to happen.
Got it.
Unfortunately, because the barn garage was in fairly significant, I don't want to say disrepair, but it had deteriorated.
was historic.
Just build
It
new.
is, yes, it was old.
So they're just gonna build new.
Yeah, so they're just gonna
Okay.
tear it down. They're gonna see if they can,
But it's
salvage a
historic
window. It is in the
Okay.
historic
That's why I
historic
like the
district.
HPC. Okay, I
Jeez.
got it.
Spit it out as a, but it's an accessory building.
Okay.
And so they were doing a lot of things to kind of, bring it, it'll be complementary to
Good.
what's near it. So,
Okay, nice. I'm glad we're coming out with a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Good.
Aaron, I'm sorry, we had someone, did we have something on the agenda? Oh, we just had visitors that night who were observing. Okay, that's all I have. All right.
Planning Commission meeting will be Thursday night, so I'll have an update at the next meeting.
All right. I have a little bit of a laundry list since we last met. We had the City Hall flag raising and opening, which was a huge success. Got lots of good feedback on that. And a special thank you to everybody who came out and helped, especially with the ceremony: Cindy Monroe, Jim Wigand, Lori and Sydney Osterdyke, and Mike Webb. I met the week of Labor Day with Representative Greg Bowe about our levy. He does not represent us here in Carver, but being a stone's throw away in Chaska and kind of knowing what they went through with their levy certification experience and the benefits that it's brought to their town since then, I thought it would be good to bend his ear a little bit on it, and he was very supportive. I also saw Representative Nash before the Steamboat Days parade. He thought it was a really good sign that Capital Investment Committee is coming out here to Carver on their tour. Steamboat Days, thank you so much to all the volunteers, including Christy and Brent, who helped put that together. That's something that is a ton of work and isn't possible without the help of the volunteers, and I don't think we thank them enough. Lots of work. I got really good feedback on that too, especially the variety of the food
Oh,
trucks.
they were fantastic. I ate my way through Steamboat
Right.
Days.
You're craving something that Monday after and you miss it so much.
The cheesecake was
Don't
good.
forget to thank the Pyrotechnics Company.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the fireworks were good too. There were a variety of pyrotechnics options that evening.
I heard about it. I heard about it.
Let's see. We had our employee appreciation dinner last Monday night, which was really good to get and not only thank all of our city employees and the fire department, but also to see and meet members of their family and thank them for the commitments that their significant others and spouses have made to the city. So that was fun, especially feeding little people way too much sugar, which was super fun for me. I had a mayor's meeting. There's a group of mayors that meet, statewide mayors that meet through the Urban Land Institute. And then last but not least, on Friday, we had a community leaders meeting, which is through the school district, and that is the mayors and the city administrators, city managers, for all four of the communities there in the school district. So they teed up all of the referendum information.
Okay.
They're going to be coming. I don't know that they're on the calendar yet, but they're going to be coming to one of our upcoming meetings.
Superintendent Clinton Christopher is going to be at your October 7th regular meeting to give you an overview of the levy for the referendum coming up this November.
That's it for me. Brent? Nothing? All right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
We have a motion by Councilmember Mock and a second by Councilmember Henry. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Good evening.